Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Men Advanced Bible Study night. The August the 1st, 2025. Okay. We'll be dealing with Deuteronomy 32. We're going to explain that. Okay. Go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at. Check them out. Check the videos out. Get the meat out. These videos will lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. We have our cash app at the, running across the bottom of the screen. If you feel a need to support the channel, okay, that too will be greatly appreciated. Okay. And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Savior, and our Redeemer, and our Deliverer, the Lord of Hosts. Okay, this channel was created to aid and assist all Hebrews who are waking up in these last days, final hours, to their true identity. Shalom and welcome to the channel. Welcome to our Men's Advanced Bible Study. Okay, we're gonna do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, songs. We have some current events, need to know information. We'll open it up for any comments, Q&A, any dialogue. Okay, then our topic for discussion is we'll be dealing with, did Africa say that it wanted African Americans reparations? We're going to play that video and then we're going to write about it. And our scripture reading will be out of Deuteronomy 32. We're going to read that and then break it down. Then we're going to pick a scripture and break that scripture down. Okay, read it, then break it down. And then we'll close out. Okay. This moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts, and all that he's doing is bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. O Lord, we pray unto the Lord, my God, and we make our confessions, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee, and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us a confusion of face as viz this day, to the men of Judah, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and in all Israel, that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven us, because of our trespass that we have trespassed against thee. O Lord, hear this prayer, cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary and thy people, for your sake. O Lord, open your eyes and incline your ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do and defer not for thy sake. For your people need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, we'll read the Psalms.
Shalom. Yes, sir. Brother Leonard, tonight I'm gonna read Psalms 41, sir. And it says, blessed is he that considereth the poor. The Lord will deliver him in time of trouble. The Lord will preserve him and will keep him alive. And he shall be blessed upon the earth, and thou wilt not deliver him unto the will of his enemies. The Lord will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing. Thou wilt make all his bed in his sickness. I said, excuse me, I said, Lord, be merciful unto me. Heal my soul, for I have sinned against thee. Mine enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die and his name perish? And if he come to see me, he speaketh vanity, and his heart gathereth iniquity to itself. When he goeth abroad, he telleth it. All that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my heart. And evil disease say they cleaveth fast unto him. And now he that lieth, he shall rise up no more. Yea, my own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me. But thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me and raise me up. that I may requite them. By this I know that thou favorest me, because mine enemy doeth not triumph over me. And as for me, thou upholdest me in mine integrity, and settest me before thy face forever. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, from everlasting to everlasting. Selah and Selah.
Okay.
Shalom.
Yeah, you got anything on that?
Oh no, sir. Go ahead, Brother Leonard.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was looking at how David ended that psalm. He says, and by this I know that thou favorest me, because my enemies do not triumph over me. And as for me, thou upholdest me in my integrity, and settest me before thy face forever. So he said, he the one he set before his face forever. And I wanted to shine a light on that because of go to second Samuel 22. Real quick. Second Samuel 22. And it says that after David had passed away, the Lord had delivered him from those wicked spirits, right? Spirits of those giants that tried to hold him on earth. And we see in verse, let's see, said David said in Psalm 20, 2 Samuel 22 and 7, in my distress, this is after he had passed away, I called upon the Lord and cried to my God, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. So what happened was when he left the body, the soul left the body, these wicked spirits tried to drag him down into hell. And he cried to the Most High in his temple in Jerusalem to the Lord of hosts. And then verse 18 says, he came and he delivered me from my strong enemies and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me, like I just said, in the day of my calamity when he passed away. But the Lord was my stay. He brought me forth also into the Lord's place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Then here you go. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands, have he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord and have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him, and I have kept myself from my iniquities. Therefore the Lord hath recompensed me according to my righteousness and according to my cleanliness in his eyesight. So we see right here, so many people get uh, that mixed all up about some of the things David did in his younger life. But we know that in his last days, after he passed away, the Lord recompensed righteousness on him. And so when you understand that, we're going to go one more place. Okay? You'll see why it says this in Malachi. Right? A lot of people get this mixed up. They try to figure out who these supposed to be, these two witnesses supposed to come in the last days. And they saying one of them is Enoch, and then the other one is saying it's Enoch and Elijah, right? But we're gonna look at this right quick. According to what we just read. This chapter 4, I'm gonna read all of it. It says, for behold, the day coming, it's the day of the Lord, that shall burn like an oven, and all the proud, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch, right? Okay. Then here we go, verse 2. But unto you, so unto us, unto you that fear my name, shall the Son, what we see right here, they was hoodwinking it. It's supposed to be S-O-N, they got it S-U-N. The Son of righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings, and he shall go forth and go up as calves in a stall. So right here, because it says Son of righteousness, right? we know that Enoch was the only man that lived and didn't sin. So Enoch was a son of righteousness. They're saying that that's him. But you also can, when you look at that, you can see that it could be David, because it says over here, David just told you in verse 25, 2 Samuel 22 and 25, the Lord, therefore the Lord has recompensed me according to my righteousness and according to my cleanliness in his eyesight. So Lord recompense righteousness on you. So that could be David right here, just as well as Enoch. Yeah, I think it's Enoch, but it could just as well be David. But yeah. Okay, anybody got any comments on that?
Shalom, brother Leonard. I don't think I must have missed you have said that before, of just the possibility of that being Enoch. But that makes sense though.
You got to
But
be a not a
specifically,
David, not a or Aaron.
wait, I'm sorry, sir. Say
Two anointed ones. Every time Israel go in captivity, he has to raise
okay.
up. He has to raise those two anointed ones up. So, David and Elijah.
Okay, right. I'm sorry. Yeah, the king and the high priest.
Right. The two
Right.
anointed ones, they have to go. They go in the temple once every year on the Day of Atonement.
Right. Okay, right. And then okay, and brother Lynn, I have well, you really said the verse that I was gonna ask, but just in chapter 12, verse 12, where it says we know this is David, David talking, but when he sitteth before thy face forever. Well, this can't be the most high then, right?
No. He's sitting before the Lord of hosts forever.
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah, because I know people when he's talking to Moses that no one can see my face and live. So who David's referring to can't be the most high. And then in verse 13 it says the Lord God of Israel. That's not the most high.
Right. Exactly. Right. Okay. You got anything else on that?
Oh no, sir. Shalom.
Okay, we'll go to our current event.
Laying out AI priorities for the federal government at a high-profile event in Washington. Eamon Javers joins us right now with more on that. Eamon, we're trying to figure out what this means overall and what we can expect to see in the industry as a result.
Yeah, good morning, Becky. Look, pledging that the U.S. will do whatever it takes to retain its global lead in artificial intelligence, President Trump signed 3 executive orders yesterday to speed up development in the field. The orders are designed to accelerate permitting of AI projects, expand U.S. tech exports, and eliminate what the president called woke in AI. Now, the president's plan aims to block the government from contracting with tech companies unless they ensure that their systems are objective and free from what they call top-down ideological bias. Now, I asked White House officials on a call yesterday, who's going to decide what ideological bias is? They responded that what they're mostly concerned about is eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion values from AI. Officials said they're also focused on clearing away regulatory hurdles to new projects, particularly environmental concerns around new plant construction. Trump also said he doesn't want copyright concerns slowing down AI's ability to utilize the world's knowledge base.
When you read something and when it goes into this vast intelligence machine, we'll call it, you cannot expect to every single time say, oh, let's pay this one that much, let's pay this one. It just doesn't work that way. Of course, you can't copy or plagiarize an article, but if you read an article and learn from it, we have to allow AI to use that pool of knowledge without going through the complexity of contract negotiations.
Now, that's significant because, as you guys know, media organizers, authors, and others have brought a barrage of lawsuits against AI firms for allegedly ingesting their work into large language models without financial compensation. Back over to you guys.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful in terms of what it means for all of these media companies and others who have been suing to try and uphold their rights on some of these things. Kind of goes back to what Satya Nadella said maybe a year and a half ago or longer to 60 Minutes when he said basically, or maybe it was Lester Holt, where he said, look, we have to rethink how copyright laws work essentially to make sure that this progress gets made. Clearing the pathways for some of the environmental issues, for trying to build out faster. I just wonder what you think that is going to mean, Eamon, in terms of how fast the progress goes, what this means in terms of America winning the AI race with China.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it's largely environmental, right? And what they're concerned about is any kind of environmental reviews or any kind of regulatory slowdown of this vast data center buildup, and also, you know, the power supplies that's going to be important for AI as well. So I think if you are in the AI business, if you're in the data center business or anywhere adjacent to that, what you can expect now is sort of the full weight of the federal government sort of on your side of the argument, whatever it is on regulatory matters. I think that's probably a good thing for the AI industry as they look to expand. And I think, you know, you just saw the president throw himself on one side of this copyright issue. He's all in with the AI industry on this, saying, you know, they shouldn't have to be beholden to copyright as they ingest all this material, because that's sort of the world's knowledge and that should be for the world. Now, if you're somebody who's an author or a media company, you might, you know, disagree. You might say, well, that's our knowledge and you're stealing it. So that debate is ongoing. The president clearly taking a side there. And all of this will be decided by, you know, federal agencies who are large purchasers here. And the influence that they're using is the federal procurement of all of this stuff. They're going to set terms within the federal government for what they buy, including this sort of unbiased ideologically, you know, guideline around this idea of not having DEI or woke ideology built into the AI. All of that's going to be in what the federal government buys, and that's going to be very influential for the industry.
Okay, any comments on that? What's the time?
Shalom. Yes, sir. It's to cut us off. You know, that term woke is targeted towards the quote unquote black community or the diaspora. So that AI that he got, it's targeted in all facets of life. You know, they got those little systems, they plug in their little programs and they can cut us off. Like they have that software on the places where you get jobs, you know, and you put in there that you black, the AI system gonna skip over your application. They got it for when you looking for homes. You know, you put in that information in there, it see who you is, they gonna deny you a loan. You know, so that's also what he means when they're implementing all these AI, all this technology. I just see it as a way to cut us off, Brother Leonard. Because also online too, when we're the ones exposing the Edomites and all of that, you know, they want to cut that off. Because I get warning sometime on the other social media platforms about some of the content that I post.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, they got a problem with that. They try to put a twist on it by saying woke. That's supposed to be sarcastic, but yeah. That's something.
Oh, shalom, and Brother Leonard, I forgot now what their acronym for it means, but I seen a nationalist, a Gentile nationalist, riding around. He had it on his like a decal on his car, but I forgot what it stood for. I'll have to look it up. But they mean something by that, by calling us woke as well. Right. But I gotta find the acronym.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
And we are proud to host Active 2025. We are proud to host active for. We are in the Caribbean, where the Atlantic meets the Caribbean Sea, where our people greet each other with warmth, with resilience. And so we open our hearts and our minds to all our guests who are with us today. We open our minds and our hearts to the partnership, to the dialogue, and to the conversation about economic prosperity, wealth creation, trade, development, and ultimately the dignity of African people everywhere. And so today we talk not just about Africa and the Caribbean, we speak of global Africa. And global Africa means Africa and its diaspora everywhere it is.
My people, you know there's a serious shift happening in the world when small Caribbean nations decide to say no to the United States and instead lean in toward Africa. That's not just diplomacy, no, that's defiance. That's not just trade, that's strategy. Because for decades, the relationship between the Caribbean and the West has followed a predictable script, right? Depend on US trade, depend on US tourists, depend on US aid, rules, and approval. But now, the world is changing. Trump has introduced new tariffs, alliances are shifting, and the so-called backyards of empire are planting their own flags. At the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum, which took place in Grenada this week, something unprecedented happened. A Caribbean bloc, led by nations like Grenada, Barbados, and St. Vincent, pushed back on US pressure, called out unequal trade relationships, and made it clear, we're done being stuck. We're ready to trade with Africa. Now, let me say that again. Caribbean nations just rejected America's plan and are choosing Africa instead. So today on the breakdown, we're unpacking what exactly happened in Grenada, why Caribbean nations are pushing back on US influence, and how this new Afro-Caribbean alliance could reshape global power. Because this isn't just a political pivot, it's a signal that the Caribbean and Africa are finally rediscovering each other, not through slavery and exploitation, but through trade, partnership, and shared destiny. This moment might feel small, maybe, but history tells us it's the small, defiant acts that spark the biggest changes. We're going to break it down, but first, thank you to all of our new subscribers and members. And if you're watching and haven't joined us yet, I invite you to join our growing family here at Planet Genius TV. Hit subscribe, Grenada, and CARICOM. Now, on the surface, it looks like a typical summit. Flags, panels, speeches. But beneath it all, something deeper is unfolding. This year's event wasn't just another feel-good conference, no. It was a clear declaration that the Caribbean is no longer content to be entrapped in the old colonial trade routes, that it's time to look east, across the Atlantic, to Africa. Now, CARICOM Secretary General Carla Barnett put it plainly.
If you are sleeping in a position like this, you are wrecking your body and your breathing. Obstructive sleep
decisively opened the door to greater trade between our regions. CARICOM trade with the continent must grow beyond the current levels of less than 3%. Let me repeat that number, 3% of our overall trade.
Yes, 3% of trade. That's how little the Caribbean trades with Africa today. Despite centuries of shared struggle, migration, and culture. Despite the fact that both regions face the same challenges, climate vulnerability, debt traps, supply chain fragility, and economic dependence. So what exactly is the holdup? Well, in part, it's because the West designed it that way. The Caribbean was engineered to depend on US tourists, on US markets, on former European colonial powers. But now, those relationships are fraying. Trump has imposed tariffs on Caribbean goods. He has intensified pressure to roll back investment migration programs, and his growing security demands, particularly around deportation agreements and regional policing, are raising alarms. At this very forum, Caribbean leaders are pushing back quietly, but unmistakably. They are rejecting Washington's tone, refusing to become pawns in someone else's geopolitical game, and instead are reaching across the ocean toward Africa, not just for trade, but for dignity, for strategy, for self-definition. And for the Caribbean nation hosting it all, Grenada, it isn't just policy, it is personal, a continuation of a legacy that dates back to revolution, resistance, and one leader who tried to do this decades ago. Grenada didn't just host this forum because it had extra ballroom space, right? There's a deeper reason. This tiny island nation, just over 100,000 people, has a long and radical history of standing up to global power. And that history begins with a name you may not hear often in school textbooks, but you should. Maurice Bishop. In 1979, Bishop led the Grenadian Revolution. He overthrew a corrupt regime backed by the West and launched a bold socialist experiment rooted in self-reliance, people power, and solidarity with Africa and the global South. His government aligned with Cuba. He welcomed doctors and engineers from Ghana and Tanzania, and he famously said, "Our foreign policy is not based on whether you're a capitalist or a socialist, but whether you respect the right of people to determine their own future." Cultural reconnection, coordinated climate action. That's not just some fantasy, right? It's possible with strategy. And it's what the global South has been missing, horizontal power. So here's my question for you. Will this be a headline we forget next week, or the start of something we choose to build? Because unity isn't just about one event or one summit, right? It's a decision, one that we have to keep making over and over and over again until it becomes our new reality.
Okay, yeah. So this video is explaining the fact that Africa and the Caribbean is coming together. And like I said, if you're paying attention, you can see all these tentacles, they're coming together. You're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be out of here or leaving here. You're paying attention. Any feedback on that?
Yes, sir. I see that the same way, Brother Leonard. And also, you remember a lot of these Caribbean nations been finding like a lot of different minerals too. You know, in the last few years, like in Haiti, they found that like $1 trillion mountain of I can't remember the what it was. Iodine, you know, I can't remember the name of the mineral, but they said it was worth trillions.
Right.
And in the Caribbeans, and they've been finding oil and different things like that. And then yeah, like you said, the travel bans and all of that, everybody's been looking to go back to Africa from the Caribbeans as well.
Exactly. And it's a spirit that's been poured out on us. That's what's driving it. They're trying to curb it, but it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna play this. This is some need to know information. So I thought this was pretty big. I'm gonna play this. Okay.
Happening behind closed doors across Africa, and those who remain distracted may wake up too late to realize the ground has already shifted beneath their feet.
Exactly.
In the heart of the Sahel, where headlines often skip over the real battles, a different kind of power is being planted, not with weapons or threats, but with offers, alliances, and smiles that mask strategic blueprints. Because while the world debates old empires and echoes of the past, new partnerships are being written quietly, hand to hand, not with pen and ink, but with high fives and sealed boxes marked Made in Russia. So what exactly is being offered? Why Burkina Faso, and why now? And what if this wasn't just another diplomatic visit, but a test run for a future Africa? If you believe Africa is rising not by chance, but by bold choices and quiet revolutions, then this is the channel for you. Tap that subscribe button, join our growing community of thinkers and watchers, and stay ahead of the stories that others leave behind, because the next few minutes might change how you see global power forever. In the last 7 days, something strange has happened across the Sahel. 3 separate visits, 1 single country, and a handshake that's turning into a blueprint. On July 30th and 31st, 2025, Russia's top energy officials stepped off a government plane in Ouagadougou for a meeting that wasn't covered in Western media, but might just signal a new strategic axis in Africa's favor. No red carpet, no stage drama, just Captain Ibrahim Traoré, standing face to face with Russia's delegation, sleeves rolled up, smile wide, and a familiar high five that said everything words could not. But why did Russia come, and what did they leave behind? For decades, Africa's partnerships have followed a script: colonial debt relief, development grants, endless summits that lead nowhere. But in the last 18 months, something has begun to shift, and the capital of Burkina Faso, long overlooked by global powers, has become a hotbed of diplomatic intensity. It started slowly. Weapons deals, trade offers, military training programs. But by July 2025, the pattern was undeniable. Russia wasn't just visiting, it was embedding, not as a patron, but as a partner. And then came this, a full ministerial delegation from Moscow, led by Energy Minister Sergei Savilev, arriving on July 30th. The purpose, not a photo op, not a rescue mission, but the foundation of an intergovernmental commission, the first of its kind between Russia and Burkina Faso, a structure built for continuity, for long-term coordination, for policy beyond presidents and ministers. This was not charity, this was strategy. But what was the real message hidden inside this seemingly ordinary meeting? On July 31st, just 24 hours after initial talks, the Russian delegation returned, this time not just with words, but with proof of intent. In a formal presentation before President Ibrahim Traoré, they handed over something symbolic and deeply strategic: a certificate confirming Russia's gift of a mobile microbiological laboratory, built entirely in Russia, and scheduled to arrive in Burkina Faso by December 1st, 2025. Now this may sound like a routine donation, but make no mistake, this lab isn't just scientific equipment, it's a portable field hospital disguised as infrastructure, capable of operating without grid power, deployable in remote provinces, staffed by Russian-trained technicians who will teach Burkinabe doctors. This is data, diagnostics, and disaster response, all in one machine, and more importantly, its presence. A physical mobile reminder that Russia's promises come with wheels, wires, and real-world utility. It's also a move that signals something deeper. Russia isn't here to watch, it's here to help shape. If you value thoughtful, well-researched stories like this, and want to follow more powerful shifts reshaping Africa's sovereignty, partnerships, and future, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us share deeper truths with more people, and trust me, we've only just begun, because what Russia proposed after that was even more shocking. What happened next was not broadcast, no press conference, no joint statement, just a closed-door briefing, and a quiet set of signatures that may eventually rewrite Burkina Faso's energy future, and perhaps the entire Sahel's regional alignment. After the gift of the mobile microbiological laboratory, many expected the meeting to end with symbolic photos and vague promises, but Russia didn't stop there. In fact, what followed was the true reason for the visit, and it revealed a side of this alliance the world hasn't seen clearly until now. According to sources inside the Energy Ministry, Russia unveiled a new cooperation model that breaks away from the one-way street of foreign aid that Africa has long been forced to travel. Instead of dictating terms or making backdoor demands, Russia is offering joint development projects, particularly in the energy sector, a domain where Burkina Faso still depends heavily on aging grids, imported fuel, and unpredictable infrastructure. The Russian delegation laid out a proposal to help construct and modernize multiple energy facilities across the country, not just in urban centers, but also in underdeveloped and underserved provinces. These aren't just theoretical ideas, they are scalable projects, backed by signed memoranda. And for the first time, Burkina Faso is being invited to co-steer the process, not simply sign dotted lines. Let's pause here. If you're watching this and thinking, why don't we hear more of this in the news? It's because real cooperation that empowers Africa doesn't make the headlines of the powers that profit from its weakness. So if this story is adding value to your understanding, if you believe that Africa's sovereignty, progress, and dignity deserve global attention, I invite you right now, hit the like button, subscribe, and help us grow this platform. We are building a community of minds that think beyond borders, headlines, and colonial filters, because what we're seeing isn't just development, it's a prototype for shared sovereignty. During the same series of meetings, Russia formally proposed the creation of a Russia.
Okay, what you think?
Shalom. Like a lot of that, well, I look at it as like Torah and you know, because they're doing all this in the name of Pan-Africanism. So, you know, even though if Russia was looking at them equally and, you know, helping them build up West Africa, you know, they're still not going to the Lord. Tory and them are not going to the Lord with their desires, you know, to build up the country. So I still look at it as Putin being just a different face for what's already been going on in Africa. Like eventually, like right now, you know, it's all good, but I feel like eventually, you know, they're just cornering them over there. And a lot of that technology too that they're building up, like the video was saying, I noticed excuse me, that a lot of it is the same technology that Trump is talking about over here as far as the AI and face recognition and all that. Torre is doing the same thing.
Exactly, right, exactly. Right. Another way to look at that too, when you're looking at prophecy, true prophecy from the Lord of Hosts, is that we got to look at it. What's the difference in Putin, Exene, and these other people that's coming all of a sudden they're over in Africa, and you can see Africa rising. Well, look what happened with Cyrus came, right? After Cyrus and all these men, they were wicked, but he used them to bring forth his prophecy. So you had Cyrus came first. He was adamant about the Lord of Hosts. But the Lord of Hosts had told him, right after him, Darius. Darius did it. You know, his whole thing was about getting the temple built, getting the Israelites back, and then after him, Artaxerxes. 3 kings fulfilled his promise, his prophecy that they was going to come back and rebuild the temple. They were Gentiles. So, like I say, it's nothing new under the sun. Okay. So
Right.
yeah. So with that being said, I'll open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions, comments, any dialogue about anything before we move on? Feedback?
Oh, shalom. Brother Leonard, when we was looking over the writings of Abraham one time, and I had went back over it. It might have been chapter 145, but I don't remember like reading the story in Jasher about Abraham, like Abraham and Haran when they got thrown in the furnace, right? In the writings of Abraham, it said that Terah blamed Haran. That's why he got thrown in there. I don't remember that in Jasher. Do you?
Oh yeah, it's in there.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in there. He said he asked him, the Lord Nebuchadnezzar asked him, who gave you the idea to take your handmaiden child instead of Abraham for to give to him? And he told him Haran did. That's how Haran ended up in the.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay.
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 Yeah. So we're gonna go on to play this right here. This talking about the Antichrist and all that, but I want you this guy Peter Thiel. You know what that is? Peter Thiel?
No, sir. I'm not familiar.
That's the guy tied with the either one behind raising up the vice president. What his name? Vance. He the one that brought Vance to the forefront. And then he tied to, he got a big play in Project 2025.
Oh, okay, but this is not that the Yarbin. That's a different guy.
Yeah, he not, but they associated.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so check this out.
Something is happening.
No, that's the wrong guy. Here you go. Here you go.
Know what's holding back the Antichrist, and they're targeting it. Picture this. One of the most brilliant minds in Silicon Valley, a man who co-founded PayPal, made the first major investment in Facebook, and built Palantir into a multi-billion-dollar surveillance empire, stands before an audience at Cambridge University and says something that should terrify every person on Earth. We should be way more
Zionist too, but check it out.
worried about the Antichrist because no one's worried about it. He's built the very technologies that governments use to monitor their citizens. And he's warning us that we're walking straight into the most sophisticated trap in human history.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what will shock you about his warning. He's not talking about some distant religious prophecy. He's talking about political and technological forces that are converging right now, in real time, using a biblical concept that explains exactly how the
So we were just talking about how we're looking at the hand of Yahweh, but it's the other hand.
world will submit to totalitarian control. The concept is called the catacon.
Big AC companies.
It means the restrainer. And what if a man who wrote about this pattern 2,000 years ago understood exactly how it would unfold? The Apostle Paul wrote about forces that restrain evil and chaos, but he also warned that those restraining forces would eventually be taken out of the way. And when that happens, he said, then shall that wicked be revealed. Peter Thiel believes we're living through that removal right now. And if he's right, what comes next will make every dystopian novel
is him
look like a children's fairy tale. To understand what Peter Thiel is really warning us about, we need to go back 2,000 years to a mysterious passage written by the Apostle Paul. In his second letter to the Thessalonians, Paul wrote to establishment. He bans central bank digital currencies in America, calling them a dangerous threat to freedom. But what if this isn't just politics? Let me show you exactly what Trump stopped. The Treasury Department was developing a framework for a digital dollar that would make China's digital yuan look like child's play. Every transaction recorded and analyzed, real-time flagging of prohibited purchases. But it gets worse. They weren't just planning to monitor your spending, they were planning to control it. This isn't speculation. This is exactly what programmable digital currencies can do. And the infrastructure was already being built. 2025, Oval Office. As Trump signs strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology, he doesn't just change policy, he potentially alters the prophetic timeline. Central bankers around the world watch in horror as their carefully constructed system hits an American roadblock. But here's what makes this moment even more significant. Trump doesn't just ban central bank digital currencies. He uses language that reveals he understands the spiritual dimensions of what he's fighting. Dangerous threat to freedom, government tyranny, take money from people's accounts without their knowledge. This isn't just economic policy. This is spiritual warfare. Throughout history, America has served as a restraining force against global tyranny, and Trump's executive order continues that restraining role. But notice something.
You see what they're doing, right?
Getting everything under their thumb.
Right. They make it look like everything Trump doing is good when really it's all the way around. They're turning, they're making evil good and good evil. Like I said, this guy Peter Thiel, he's gonna come on the scene in a major way, believe me. And like I said, it's all tied to what they're trying to do with that temple. But so the name of this video, I mean, you know, it's got a lot of Christian takes in it, but yeah, it's the global elite know what's holding back the Antichrist, and they're targeting it. So yeah, you can check that out. Get the meat out. But anyway, we'll go to our topic for discussion. You got anything on that?
No, sir.
Okay, yeah, cool. Well, I'm gonna play this here. It's and this is what I was talking about how, you know, it's gonna come a time real soon that, you know, you're gonna have to make a decision whether to stay here or leave. So here we go. Check it out.
Just hear that Africa said that they are included in the African Americans' reparations.
Still what? System failures and struggle? Every incentive that Black Americans made to better ourselves in this country and to put in law, we don't get none of that.
Hi, lovies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome to God in the Verse. Don't forget to please subscribe.
This 2025, they basically told America that they are leading the cause for reparations for African countries and people affected by slavery. So basically, they found out that African Americans have 1.7 trillion in spending power, right? That means collectively, we got the bag. Collectively, we got the bag. That of which we already knew. We didn't have to shout it from the rooftops, and we damn sure didn't need anybody else clocking our bag. And now it's at the point where the African Union is working with America and top American officials to both colonize the African American culture,
Pan-Africanism. Okay.
But also to receive reparations. Did you know that they have now, the African Union have now been in talks with America about us, African Americans, being their property? Back when Big Pooh with the Loose said that he was going to pew America, and I told y'all, oh, don't worry, they sending boats around to come pick us up. That was why. Remember when I said that they consider us Africa's property? That was why. That was why them boats was going to be here. Because they consider us Africa's property, which means that Africa and the African Union is now fighting America for our fucking reparations that they didn't even help. You know how fucking delusional you gotta be to be trying to destiny swap with the same people your ancestors literally helped sell into? Like, y'all literally caused it. Had you not, what was the theme of the Sinners movie? What was the theme? You are the only person standing in between the demon getting in and out of your home. You are the ones opening up the door, the threshold. You had to invite them in order for them to come in and do that shit to you. Had you not invited those colonizers in there, they would have not only not sold us, but also, because wait a minute, they did turn around and put the people that were in power in shackles. They said, well, we're done with them. We also want you too. And whoever was left over was just left over after the abolishment of the transatlantic slave trade. Do you know how insane you have to be to think that you are entitled to some money that does not historically belong to you? Knowing good and goddamn well it had nothing to do with you. You may have been impacted by the slave trade, but the reparations that this country owes us is not because of the actual slave trade where it started. It is because of what has been done to us as we were here in this country. If you did not help build this country on your backs, if you have not been here, if you had not been shooting with us in the gym, you should not have your grubby, nasty ass hands out asking for money on our behalf. And the worst part about it is, African America, they doing it right under your nose. That is why people feel some type of way about what's going on at Essence Bank.
Pastor Manning.
That is why we feel some type of way about y'all continuously trying to claim that we don't have any culture. And then the first opportunity you get to try and capitalize off of our culture, you got your hand out looking for something. You got your hand out looking for something, constantly wanting to be the center of attention, constantly wanting to be the how do I put it? The one that everybody wants to be around. The one that everybody wants to be a part of, the one that everybody wants to pour money into or steal from. Golly, it's fucking exhausting being African American. It really be your own people. Because when I tell you the hate comes from every single angle of the diaspora, and then to then turn around and think that you have the opportunity to eat off of our reparations is insane. I don't give a damn what money America gives to y'all. That shit ain't ours. That don't have African Americans' name on it. When we separated, we had to build our own cultures. We had to take some of our, our historical culture that was passed down to us back when our ancestors was in Africa. We had to make something new of it. It's just the audacity to me, because I vividly remember the majority of my life being told by people from across seas and being on the internet and hearing people consistently try to undermine, undervalue, and to consistently try to tear down Black African Americans and what we contribute to this world, but then got your hand out looking for our reparations. That's insane. Are you not embarrassed? You should be embarrassed. That is insane. Did y'all just hear that Africa said that they are included in African Americans' reparations?
I've been seeing this everywhere.
Okay, you got any comments on that so far? What you think?
Shalom. I mean, I think that we going back in the name of Pan-Africanism.
Exactly. That's what's gonna happen. That's why I've been screaming. They've been setting up all along. Like I said, it's crazy, and then how fast it's moving. Oh yeah, all this started way back with the year return and all that. It was all that was plotted on this. This now it's coming to a head, and it's exactly what Pastor Manning said.
Same thing.
Right.
Like which African who is saying this? It's not true. Yeah, no African said this. It's not true. Yeah, the CIA have their bots going crazy this month, working overtime. Yeah, there's so much misinformation going on recently. Most of it is just lies, man. Like recently, I went to watch Superman, and spoiler alert for the movie.
Continent of Africa wants reparations that African Americans are getting. That doesn't make sense at all. Africa is a continent made up of over 50 countries that speak different languages. Why would the entire continent want something that African Americans are getting? It doesn't even make sense. There's no articles on this shit. There's no proof of this shit. Bro, we ain't getting reparations. We ain't getting the reparations over here, so why the fuck would they get them over there? That don't even make sense. You gotta at least give me some evidence on this claim that you're making, bro. The entire continent wants reparations? Come on, man. I could slightly get it if you said Egypt wanted some, or Algeria wanted some, or Mali, but the entire continent, That's not gonna work, bro. That's a fucking lie. There's a lot of misinformation going out here on the internet. Watch your sources, guys. This shit is scary.
And a lot of Black Americans stopped doing. We used to do it, but we don't do it anymore. It's like we just are looking at whoever's getting to the top. They're like, oh, pay me, and I'll show you how I got there. That's not the way. That's not the way. And I'm a Black American woman with a mother that's Black American, and my father is Caribbean. And I also have family who's Liberian. So I understand all sectors of it. And I'm telling y'all, a lot of us are our own worst fucking enemy. We always making excuses on why we can't do something. Work together. That's the only way to do it.
Okay, we're gonna leave it right there. You got anything else on that? Keep an eye on it.
Right, yes, sir. And I've been seeing too, to go along with Pastor Manning been saying too, now there's celebrities coming out again, a lot of them getting their citizenship.
Exactly.
Most recently I seen Dr. Umar and then Sierra getting there. So I remember in 2020 or in 2019, everybody was popping out getting their citizenship. Then it got quiet for a while. Now it's back.
Well, yeah. Same thing they did with Ghana. Now they doing it with Burkina Faso. But it's just that now they got more. They got more information from what they gathered from what they done with in 2019. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Got a greater connection, all that. So that's what we're looking at.
Right.
There ain't no but what's the difference in the United States of America and the United States of Africa?
No.
People control.
Right.
Now they over there where all the minerals at. They're sitting on top of it. That's their objective.
Right.
But it ain't gonna work, you know what I'm saying? Because that ain't how it's going to end. So yeah, so I want to read out a lot of people don't know it, but Moses had prophesied to our forefathers. Everything that's happening to us right now, Moses prophesied to our forefathers in Deuteronomy 32. But not only did he prophesy to them, he sung it. He sung it in a song. He sung it to the Israelites. So let's go back. Let's go look at that. I'm gonna read it. But like I said, you gotta keep in mind, he prophesied to them what was gonna happen all the way to the end. And not only but he sung it. He sung it in a song. Okay. You get it. You familiar with that?
What's that, Brother Leonard? The Deuteronomy 32?
Yeah.
Right, yes, sir. Now, I do remember because a lot of times people like for instance, in Isaiah 53, nobody reads 52, 13 through 15. Because I tried to tell somebody that this was a song, and he was like, where does it say that? And I was like, well, go to verse 30, chapter 31, in verse 30, and it tell you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so that's where we're gonna pick it up at. We're gonna pick it up in 31, the last verse of 31, chapter 31. It says, Moses spake in the ears of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song until they were ended. So it's a song, right? Then it says, we'll start reading in 32. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O ye earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass, because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. So right here, if you're looking for a savior or a redeemer, the God of Israel, these are characteristics. JC don't possess these characteristics. I'm gonna read it, verse 3, because he says, Moses said, I will publish the name of the Lord, ascribe ye greatness unto the God. He is the rock. Go back to Peter. JC asked Peter, who you think I am? Peter said, JC the rock. But we see right here, it says, the Lord of hosts is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, right? A God of truth and without iniquity, no sin, just and right is he, right? They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Do ye thus requite the Lord, for foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that have brought thee? Have he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old. Consider ye years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. We found him in the desert land and in the waste, howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirred up her nest, fluttered over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them and beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, and that he might eat the increase of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of a rock, and oil out of a flinty rock, butter of kine, and the milk of sheep, with the fat of lambs and rams, and the breed of Bashan, and the goats, with the fat of the kidneys of the wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. But Jezreel, there we go, wax. This is what I was telling you about right here. See that? Jezreel, but Jezreel waxed fat. So that's the wicked name. Israel wicked name. See it right here. This is what I was looking for. But Jezreel waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxing fat. Thou art given thick, and thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So there we go with the rock again right here. Then they got over the New Testament. Peter telling JC that he the rock, but we see the rock right here. But I want to show you this again, this Jezreel. He said he found them in the wilderness as Israel. They was Israel, Jacob's children. But then when he brought them back to the land, they got a temple and all that. 15, but Jezreel, see that? That's a street name. That's Israel's street name. But Jezreel waxed fat, kicked. Thou art waxing fat. Thou art grown thick, and thou art covered with fatness. So she got everything now. They got the nation got everything. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With the abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods. JC, one of them. They came newly up, whom your father feared not. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them, and I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. JC. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people, and I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. That's Esau. You know, a lot of people don't know that. That's Esau. Because they came in, he allowed them to come in and build a temple. And to everything they do in a day, he allowed them to do it. This is the foolish nation. 22. For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. And I will heap mischief upon them, and I will spend mine arrows upon them, and they shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. And I will also send the teeth of the beast upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. So that's the 4 beasts right here. That I will also send the teeth of the beast, S only. That's the 4 beasts in Daniel, right? Upon them, with the poison of the serpents of the dust, the sword without, terror within, shall devour both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said, I will scatter them into the corners. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So right here, this verse right here, this is the Lord of hosts talking. Moses saying this to them way back on the mountain, right? Verse 26 says, the Lord of hosts said, I said, I will scatter them into corners, and I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So how they do that? Attack the book. So he behind it. That's why they all in the book. Because they this right here. They fulfilling this. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. That's where it is. They attack the book. And nobody know we the Israelites. Okay. 27. Were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hands is high, and the Lord have not done all this, but he did. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, and the Lord have shut them up? There you go, right? 31. For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are the grapes of God. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, and the cruel venom of apes. Is not this laid up in store with me, and sealed up among my treasures? To me belongs, this Lord of hosts, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. For the Lord shall judge his people, and repent himself for his servants, when he seeth that their power is gone, and there is none shut up or left. So let's look at, I want to shine a light on this, because this is big right here. Okay, so 35, right? Deuteronomy 32, verse 35 says, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense, not to us, to him. To the Lord belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, talking about Israel, for the day of that calamity is at hand. So you say, what calamity you talking about? Here you go, right here. This is what everybody familiar with. Okay, I mean, over that. Okay, let me get it right quick. Okay, so that. Okay. 1 minute. Book to high. There you go. Book of Obadiah. Okay, we got one chapter. So it says I'm in Obadiah, verse 10. Right. So he's prophesying about what Edom done to Israel, and so we starting at verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off. Talking about Esau. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, foreigners entered into his gates, cast lots upon Jerusalem. This is doing in the Maccabees, first, second Maccabees, the Antiochus came, right? The Antichrist says, foreigners entered into his gates, cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. Now here you go, verse 12. But thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger, right? This is when we left. We went to the west, we went into Africa. Neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly against in the day of their distress. Thou should not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. There it is. So what calamity? Right here, right here. Moses sung it to him, verse 35. Deuteronomy 32 and 35. To me belong the vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. So it came back here in due time was when the Antiochus came, right? To me belong the vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand. There goes the calamity right here. Esau came in there and stole the land of Israel. Antiochus ran the Israelites out back in 143 BC. There goes the calamity. So we keep going. Anyway, so it says 36, for the Lord shall judge his people and repent himself of his servants when he seeth that their power is gone and there is none shut up or left. And he shall say, where are their gods, their rock, in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices and drink the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you and be your protection. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, this 4JC. I wound, I heal, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hands to heaven, and I say, I live forever. If I, with my glistening sword in my hand, take hold of judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies and reward them that hate me. And I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful to his land and to his people. And Moses came and spake all the words of this song in the ears of the people, he and Hosea, son of Nun. And Moses made an end of speaking all these words to all Israel. And he said unto them, set your hearts unto all the words which I testify among you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe and do all the words of this law. Okay, keep going. For it is not a vain thing for you, because it is your life. And through this thing ye shall prolong your days in the land, whether ye go over Jordan to possess it. And the Lord spake unto Moses that self same day, saying, get thee up unto the mountain of Abram, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, that is over against Jericho, and behold, the land of Canaan, which I gave unto the children of Israel for possession, and die in the mount, whither thou goest up, and be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron, thy brother, died in the Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people, because ye trespassed against me among the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, because ye sanctified me not in the midst of the children of Israel. Yet thou shalt see the land before thee, but thou shalt not go thither unto the land which I gave to the children of Israel. Got any feedback on that?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. Just in in verses 40 and 41,
right,
and 39. I mean, those, this is one of my favorite verses right here when you showed me this, because it's clear that this is the Lord of hosts. This ain't Yahweh talking.
Exactly. And notice the understanding even get greater now, because we know he's prophesying to them everything that's going to happen to them.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And this is what we right here at this last part of it is what happened to us during the time of Obadiah.
Mm.
And he had already told them that it was going to happen. And he said he's going to hide his face from us. Ain't that where we at?
Right. Sure.
Yeah. Now he's starting to reveal himself. But it actually overtook us. Like I said, these prophecies overtook us way back when Antiochus came. This is what Moses was prophesying to them about. Okay? But I want to shine light on something else. Look at 44. See verse 44?
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And Moses came and spake all the words of this song into the ears of the people, he and Joshua, the son of Nun.
No, that ain't Joshua. Look at it. Look at it. What it say?
Well, my fault. It says Hosea.
That's Hosea over there, Mount of Prophets.
Wait, whoa, for real?
Yeah. I was telling you about how they try to talk about Jesus sent the apostles out 2 by 2, right?
Right.
That's where they get it from. Everything they doing, they getting it from the Old Testament. You got to remember, you got the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, right?
Right.
You got prophets over just dealing with the Northern Kingdom, and you got prophets in the Southern Kingdom. So it's so that's what I'm saying. They want you to think that this stuff is hundreds of years apart. No, Moses and Hosea existed at the same time.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Like Amos and them prophets. They all, when you go back and look at it, they prophesied at the same time the other one prophesied, and the prophecies is coincide with each other. Yeah.
Mm. Right. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. That's something else I saw, man. Let me get it. See if I can go back and find it. It was in the beginning. Verse 8 says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam. So that's not the sons of Adam, that's the sons of God, the angels.
Right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. They don't add up. But when you understand those 70 angels, then it adds up. And then you say, what you talking about? Look at 9. For the Lord's portion. Who is the Lord? An angel. Right?
Right.
So if you go back up to 8, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, right? When he separated the sons of God, the angels, right? He set bounds to the people according to the number of the children of Israel for the Lord's portion. He an angel. He one of the 70. See that?
Yes, sir.
The Lord portion is his people, Israel. Jacob is a lot of his inheritance. So how he divided land up according to Jacob when he talking about angels. When he talking about when he brings up the Lord of hosts, he an angel. You see
Right.
that?
Yes, sir. And in my study Bible, sir, in verse 8, where it says children of Israel, when I go over to the little glossary, it says angels of God.
Right. Right. Oh yeah, this is what I was looking at. 11. Remember we always talking about when we reading over this, but we always talking about all through the Psalms, wings.
Yes, sir.
He's saying the Lord of the God of Israel, cover us with your wings. They think that's just something they saying just for the hell of it, but it's, you know what I'm saying? So he says, and the eagle, I said, as the eagle stirs up her nest, flutters over her young, spreads abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead Israel, and there was no strange God. So he doing the same thing. You see what I'm saying? He got
Yes,
wings.
sir. Yes,
You
sir.
see it? Right. And then another one was, it says, yeah, so right here, people read number 14, it says, butter and king, the milk of sheep with the fat of the lambs. So who wants the fat? Who getting the fat of the lamb?
Lord of hosts.
And the rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of the kidneys. There it is, of the wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape, but Jezreel waxed fat. So see that this is what they were doing. He had showed them how to keep the feast days, all that. They bring in the fat and all that. After he showed them all that, and they prospered and got wealthy, then that's when they became Jezreel. That's the street name, like I said. That's Israel's nickname. Nobody seemed to know nothing about it. But anyway, yeah. So, you got anything else on that?
No, sir. That was clear.
Okay. So, with that being said, we'll pick a scripture and then we'll read that scripture. Then we'll break it down and we'll close out.
Right. Brother Leonard, can we go to I'm gonna go to Psalm 61.
Okay.
Psalm 61 and just verse 4. And it says, well, I'll read 3 and 4, and it says, for thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in thy tabernacle forever. I will trust in the covert of thy wings. Selah. And so, Brother Leonard, I want to ask you first, how will David abide in the tabernacle forever? Because King David is dead right now.
Exactly. Right. You're gonna be resurrected. That's how you're gonna buy it forever. Right. And I would even say that's where he at now. Is that so?
All right. Yes, sir. Definitely. Okay.
Right.
And then Brother Leonard, in that second part, I will trust in the covert of thy wings. And it might say cover, but they got a T on it in this Bible. But it says, I will trust in the cover of your wings.
Right.
So, the Lord got wings, this Lord that David praying to.
Exactly. Go right along with it, all the other scriptures that we precept that we saw. And for the longest we didn't see that because of the way that we brought into all this. But now thinking like a Hebrew, we see exactly what's being said and what's being portrayed.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hit this little right here and then I'm gonna close out.
Yes, sir.
I thought this is pretty interesting right here. Here we go.
Africa isn't even African. The name was forced on an entire continent by people who never belonged there. Before European colonizers slapped Africa on the map, this continent had its own name, one that told the real story. The ancient people called it Alkebulan, meaning mother of mankind or Garden of Eden. But here's where it gets dark. The Romans couldn't even pronounce the local names, so they just made one up. They took Afri, the name of one small North African tribe, and branded an entire continent with it. Imagine calling all of Europe Germany just because you met some Germans first. That's exactly what happened to Alkebulan. For thousands of years, Ethiopians, Nubians, Moors, and Numidians all used Alkebulan. It connected them to their identity as the birthplace of humanity itself. But colonial powers erased it from history books, maps, and memory. They literally stole a continent's name. Today, some African nations are reclaiming Alkebulan in official documents and movements. Because when you control the name, you control the narrative. In Africa, that was never their story to tell. Please.
So what you think?
Shalom. So that's that name you told me about. That what they called Africa before they named it that.
Exactly.
Right. So he's saying that they're trying to take that name back, right?
Yeah, they're trying to take it back. But do you see the cross reference? They did it with our God too.
Right.
Took away his name, and more than likely they couldn't pronounce that either. So like they couldn't pronounce this. So rather than to learn to pronounce it or to deal with it, they did away with it. Okay. Ain't that something?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom. Shalom and another shalom. I see everybody in the morning for our morning Shabbat class at 10 to 12 a.m. And shalom. Shalom and another shalom.
Shalom.